I came home early, heard something in our guest room, and I stayed quiet for 2 years. 2 years ago, I came home early on a Tuesday because a meeting got canceled, so I decided to surprise my wife with lunch. Her car was in the driveway, and a black sedan I didn't recognize was parked right behind it with out-of-state plates and an engine that still ticked. I stood there with my keys in my hand, trying to talk myself into a normal explanation. I went in through the side door, the one that doesn't creak, and halfway down the hall, I heard sounds coming from the guest room. Not loud, but clear enough that my stomach dropped. I didn't swing the door open. I backed out, got into my car, and sat there with a lunch bag on my lap, staring at the steering wheel until my hands stopped shaking. When the sedan finally pulled out, I watched it roll past like it belonged there. I waited a few more minutes, then walked back inside. My wife was in the kitchen like normal, wiping the counter and asking how my day was. She kissed me, smiled, and started talking about the kids like nothing had happened. That night, she laughed at my dumb joke and fell asleep on my shoulder, and that's what messed with me most. Our marriage wasn't cold, it was good. A year before, I'd had surgery that scared me, and she took time off, slept in a hospital chair, and took care of me without complaining. That was also her. So instead of blowing everything up, I started paying attention, quietly, carefully. The black sedan showed up again about 2 weeks later. Same window, Tuesday, between 11 and 1, gone before I was supposed to be home. Then it happened again, sometimes Thursday instead, always the same timing. I started writing the dates in my phone like I was tracking storms. I left work early once to catch it, but traffic hit, and I turned onto my street just as the sedan was pulling away. Another day I parked around the corner, sweating through my shirt, watching my own driveway like a stranger. My phone buzzed with her text, totally normal. Grab milk? I typed, who was just here? Then I erased it and sent, sure. I kept expecting guilt afterward, but she stayed the same. She still reached for my hand in parking lots. She still sat with me after the kids were asleep and talked for hours. She still got annoyed about little stuff like dishes and socks. That steadiness made it worse, because it meant she could step into that room and still come back and be fully here with me. On those days, I'd watch the clock at work like it was loud. If it was 12:10 and she hadn't texted me yet, my chest would go tight. I'd call home once and let it ring twice, then hang up so it wouldn't look weird. When I got home later, the guest room would be shut, bed made too neat, a faint smell of her perfume mixed with stale air. She'd toss a load of laundry in like it was just towels. Sometimes she'd jump when the garage door opened, then cover it with a smile. I'd ask, good day? And she'd say, yeah, same old, and change the subject fast. Every time I got close to asking, my mouth went dry and I swallowed it. After a couple months, I did one thing I'm not proud of. I had a friend run the license plate. It came back with a name I didn't know. I thought about digging deeper, finding his face, learning where he worked, making him real. Then I pictured seeing him at a red light and I stopped myself. As long as he was just a car and a name, I could keep him in a locked box in my head. Over time, I noticed a pattern that made me feel sick and strangely calm. Whoever he is, he doesn't get her real life. He doesn't get Sunday mornings when she makes coffee with too much cream and apologizes like it's a crime. He doesn't get the way she talks to our dog in that soft voice. He doesn't get her real laugh, the one that surprises her and takes over her whole face. He gets 40 minutes on a Tuesday. I get the late nights when one of the kids is sick and we trade off without even talking. I get the quiet talks after bedtime when she rests her head on my shoulder. I get the arguments we work through and the way she comes back and says, okay, tell me again. And the scary part wasn't only losing her, it was watching our whole life change in one loud moment in front of the kids because I finally said what I knew out loud. Last week, on a random evening, she came up behind me while I was rinsing dishes, grabbed my face with both hands, and turned me toward her. Her eyes were steady. No act, just her. She said, I love you, plain and direct, like she needed me to hear it. I looked back and I didn't see panic. I saw the same woman who sat in that hospital chair and the same woman who reaches for my hand without thinking. My throat tightened and I nodded once. I said, I love you too, and kissed her, and she stayed there holding my face like she meant it.